What we're gonna do here is diagnose a bad starter. All right? Either the starter's bad or the wiring to the starter is bad. All right? First thing you want to do is hook up a multimeter, a voltmeter. All right? Hook it up on the battery, positive to positive, negative to negative. Check your voltage, 12.6. 12.6 is a fully charged battery, and that's what you want for this test, okay? All right, so here we go. You can go a little bit below 12.5, 12.4, no big deal. This will still work. This test works for most vehicles, and let's do it. What you're gonna do is keep the positive terminal from your voltmeter on the positive side of the battery. All right, yeah, I know this is red, that's ground though. I changed that to a ground wire, all right? But no big deal. Now put the voltmeter on the solenoid trigger switch, which is this here. This wire right here is a trigger switch, all right? Which means your ignition switch, all right? All it is, it's just hooked up to your ignition. All right, put it on there and check it, 12.5, all right? What do we got here? 12.5, good to go. All right, so we got power to the solenoid, okay? That's with the ignition on. What I did now is I disconnected the trigger wire to the ignition switch. So I'm gonna check for voltage by itself off of there. Okay, stick this on here. Have the key on? Let's check for, let's hook that up there. Now I'm gonna check voltage, 12.7, all right? We're still good, all right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold this wire here with the terminal in it, and I'm gonna check for a break, okay? I gotta lock it in like this. Okay, I'm gonna lock it in just like this, all right? So I'm holding it, I'm clamping it, okay? I got 12.7. Now I'm wiggling the wire around, okay? I wanna see if I got a short or a break in this trigger wire, okay? I gotta hold it still first of all. Okay, right there. Now I'm pulling, and I'm stretching it, bending it, whatever. So far that's good, okay? See? We're good to go, okay? That right there is just me moving the terminal, okay? So, we're good to go down there, all right? 12.7, we're still good to go on that wire. So that tells me that this wire that supplies 12 volts to the solenoid, starter solenoid, is good to go, okay? I got 12 volts on this, did the wiggle test on the wire, and we're good to go, all right? So now, hook it back up. See what we got here. Is the, can you turn it off, please? So now let's hook this back up. Okay, start it. Okay, started right up. That's good to go. But we still have a problem. Sometimes this will start, sometimes it won't. Okay? You can turn it off. That's one of the most difficult things when you're diagnosing electrical, man. This starter, sometimes it will start, sometimes it won't. It's tricky too, man. Okay, next step, we're checking for voltage on the big wire. Okay? You have a big wire going to the starter that supplies 12 volts. Make sure your voltage is good still. Got the terminals to the voltmeter on there, 12.6, good to go. Now, see this here, down here, that one? Go there and see what you got on that. 12.6, with it on there, okay? All right, so now we check that. Next, take off the ignition switch wire, all right, which is this one here going to the solenoid, and we're gonna start it manually. All right, this time we're going to start it with, this, okay? You can use a screwdriver or anything to make contact, okay? You see that terminal there and this here? Make those two touch, okay? You're going to go just like that, okay? Turn on the ignition switch, please, and watch. Turn it off. Okay. See, that's with the ignition switch off. Okay? That's off. The car will only start if you have the ignition switch on. Okay? So, ready? Turn the ignition switch on. Okay, that completes that test, all right? Turn it off. So now we know the starter's working. And we got 12 volts to the starter. So what's the problem? I don't know yet. So that's why you got to keep on diagnosing. See, the brushes inside the starter could be bad. See, we have 12 volts going to the starter, but the starter won't activate sometimes, okay? So we got power on both our 12 volt trigger wire and the power wire, and we know that our starter works when we manually start it, okay? So, what's the problem here? I think it's a bad starter, but that's how you check your starter. If you want to do a quick test like that, so now we know our starter relay is good, okay? Because if it wasn't good, the car wouldn't even start in the beginning, okay? That's why I didn't go with the starter relay, okay? That's why I didn't start with it. And that's the process of elimination. We're nailing it down. We're getting all the way to the starter, okay? But chances are that starter's bad, okay? Because our wiring is all good and everything that goes to the starter is all good, all right? One more test you want to do is you want to bump the starter, okay? You want to hit it, all right? This is the starter right here, okay? What you do is you bang on it like this. You beat on the body of it, okay? All right, that way you can break anything loose, because sometimes the brushes in there and the armature inside the starter, they go bad, okay? But before it dies out completely, you can get a few whacks on it like that, and you can start the vehicle sometimes, okay? It works sometimes, sometimes it doesn't. It worked on this one. A couple days ago, this starter wouldn't even turn, okay? There was nothing going to it. There was nothing at all. So what we did is we hit on it like that, and it started right up. Okay, so that's just another test. That's old school too. I didn't make that up. So what that is, that's another test on how you diagnose your starter, all right, to see if you have a starter problem or issue. You got to check your terminals, your wires, all the connections that are related to the starter system, okay? So clean these up real good before you go any further in taking the starter off, okay? Before you take your terminals off on your starter, make sure you disconnect the battery, okay? Well, what I also did is I reconnected this wire here, all right? I put this wire here. This was on the wire before, this one here. This was on the battery before, all right? So now I put a new one, all right? Thicker and newer, all right? This had cancer running all in it. You know that white corrosion? This wire had cancer from here running all the way back here, all right? But for now, this is good enough, okay? So what I'm doing is I'm replacing this one also. This was in there, but this was hanging out. There were strands in here. They're going into the battery terminal. They weren't even attached. It was all frayed and just beat up, okay? So I'm checking all that, and I'm checking the connections on the starter, okay? Before I even pull it off. Okay, now I got this in here nice and tight. Now, here's a problem. This here, this is too loose. See that? This terminal, this battery terminal, positive battery terminal, is way too loose. Why? Because it can't squeeze anymore. It's maxed out, it's bottomed out. It's just compressed fully. When you got it on here and you got the bolt on, it's compressed fully and it can't squeeze this enough. So this stays loose just like that. So they had it rigged up with this little piece in here. This was rigged up inside here, making it tighter. But that's no good, man. That's not gonna do right there, all right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut this right here with the carbide blade. I'm gonna make this here a little wider so we can compress this once we get it on the post, compress it even more to make this tight inside here, okay? But the only way to do that is to take off some metal here. Okay, I'll show you right now. See the gap in there? That's what we're trying to do. Trying to make the gap bigger in there. There it is right there. See, we got plenty of gap now. That way we can close it on the battery post. Okay? So let's set that up and do that. Next, clean the terminal. Okay? Okay, now look at that big gap we got in there. See that? That's exactly what we want. Okay? Got that on there. And just tighten it up. All this stuff I'm showing you is very important. You know, when you have a starter problem, an alternator problem, any problem, especially when it has to do with electrical, you got to take all this into consideration. Every single electrical piece, connector, wire, everything that's connected to that will affect that. Okay? So keep that in mind. All right? So make sure you check all your electrical stuff, connectors, wires, everything. Now we got the battery good to go. Okay? The connectors are tight. This is tight. This is tight. I have a new wire here for the ground. And positive, good. Everything's good. All right? So now we're going to just start it a few times. We're not going to change the starter yet. All right? This is part of the test. All right? We're going to see if this works. Okay? And we're just going to make sure that this isn't the problem. Okay? Before we even go any further. Now that we got the battery hooked up, all the wires are redone. Now let's hook up the solenoid with the trigger wire, which is this here. Put that back on. Okay, now you want to listen for action in the solenoid. Okay, now the starter seems to be working fine. Okay, this is one of those hard to diagnose problems. All right. Normally, back in the days, I would have just changed the starter. But you can't just do that, man. You never want to assume. So what we're going to do is we're just going to run it. Okay? We're going to wait. We just fix this, and I'm going to retighten the terminals on the starter, and then we're going to let it run for a while. I mean, we're going to give it a couple days and see how it goes from there. Okay? On that Mazda, right after I showed you how to diagnose it, someone bought it the next day. Yeah, see, I had it on Craigslist, and then the starter went bad. That's when I diagnosed it. But anyways, we had told the person that the starter is bad, but they still bought it. But in like 2 days, the person had fixed it. So it was a win-win situation. Plus we dropped the price big time. So the person got a killer deal on that car. All right? So anyways, you know, sometimes you gotta help people like that, man. We dropped that price so much, man. The person got a killer deal. Anyways, let's finish it off, okay? So we know that starter was bad on that vehicle, okay? And what was wrong with it is that the starter on that vehicle, the brushes on the inside weren't making contact. There was a dead spot in there, okay? And remember what I told you about banging on a starter with something? Sometimes you want to bang on the starter, you want to beat on it, like around here, but not too hard, okay? Because you'll damage the brushes in there. There's an armature in there that where the brushes make contact. It's like a winding type of magnetic deal, all right, with a bunch of coiled up wire, and there's brushes on the ends, okay? Sometimes those brushes, they hit a dead spot in the starter, and then sometimes you only get a click in the solenoid, but the starter, the solenoid won't send 12 volts to the rest of this armature on the inside, all right? Preventing this from coming out. The override clutch, it keeps this from coming out. Sometimes you get a click when you turn the ignition on, but then you won't get any more power from this wire going into here, providing 12 volts to this, okay? Preventing this from popping out. All right, so anyways, that's what the deal was on that other starter. Okay, I'm gonna show you how what the deal is on this one here. Okay, so what you do, when you got a bad starter, if you pull your starter off the car, this is what you do. Go to the junkyard, pick one up, all right? But when you buy a starter, buy the warranty with it, okay? They give you like a 30-day warranty. If the starter's bad, then you can just go replace it, pick up another one, all right? That's what you do, man. These things are like 24, 30 bucks at the junkyard, okay? So that's what you want to do if you want to save money. What you do is you pull the starter off of the car inside the junkyard, all right? Bring it outside to your car. Make sure you buy the warranty. Bring it to the car, green jumper cables, okay? Hook up the positive to the positive, negative to the negative, and then what you're gonna do is you're gonna ground the body of the starter, okay? This is how you're gonna test your starter, man. All right? And then with the positive side, you're gonna touch these terminals here on the solenoid. And that's gonna let you know if your starter's working, okay? All right? So first you wanna test this. You wanna make sure, I'm touching this one here, okay? See that? What that is, that's the override clutch, okay? You're testing that. Then you want to test the armature brushes on the inside of this part to see if they spin. Okay, we know we got these two working, okay? We know the solenoid is providing the plunger and pushing out the override clutch, okay? But now, see, you have to have both actions. You have to have this popping out and this spinning at the same time. But when you provide voltage to both here and here at the same time, this will pop out and spin, engaging the flywheel. Okay, so now let's get the override clutch to engage and spin at the same time as if it was going to engage the flywheel, okay? So hook up a deal like that, all right? Touch both of these here. Don't touch the metal, okay? All right? You got this grounded on the body, okay? You have to ground the body, all right? The body is grounded through the engine while it's installed on the car, okay? Touch both of these here. Okay, here we go. Watch the overriding clutch in there, all right? Touch these both here, like that. See how it pops out, but it spins? Look at that. That's what happens. That's what happens when you turn your ignition switch, okay? Activates the solenoid and spins it at the same time. When you turn it to the start position, you get this. Pops out and spins at the same time, engaging the flywheel. See that? Sometimes when you start your car, you'll get this. Not good, because it's not popping out. That's not good, all right? Now sometimes you just get this. If you don't get anything, you know your starter's messed up. If you only get one or two things, like that, or that, your starter's messed up. In order to have a good starter, you have to have this coming out to engage the flywheel, just like that, all right? That's how you diagnose your starter, man. All right, one more thing I didn't tell you, okay? When the starter was on the other car, I forgot to show you this test. What you want to do is hook up your voltmeter to the positive terminal on the battery. And this, act as if this is hooked up to the car, all right? This is the terminal, the big terminal that goes to the connector, the big connector on the starter, down here, okay? So what you want to see is 12 volts, all right? Show this up close. Okay, I'm going to touch the body. And you want to see 12 volts. We got 12.3 right there. That's good. Look at this here. I'm going to put this on the battery. Should have the same exact thing. 12.3. That's good. Okay? Okay, that's how you diagnose your starter. Alright? You have to check your wiring, man. You have to make sure your wiring is good to go. Okay? If you don't correct the wiring, you could get a false reading and a false diagnostics of what you're doing. Okay, the wirings can fool you, man. That's why I showed you on the other one how I fixed the clamp and how I changed the negative battery cable. Because you have to make sure before you go and buy this thing, right? Because those wires could take you for a loop and throw you off big time, man. All right, remember that. Diagnosing this stuff, this electrical stuff is kind of complicated sometimes. This one's good, without a doubt. But the other one, it seemed good, but it wasn't. Like I said, there was a dead spot inside here. We got click and everything on that one. The solenoid worked good. But for some reason, we had a dead spot in there. And it just didn't work. All right, that's how you handle that, man. Check this out. You don't got no reason to give up, man. No reason, absolutely no reason, man. Keep your head solid out there, man. Don't ever give up, man. Stay strong, man. You gotta have a why, man. If you don't have a why, you ain't gonna have the fighting to continue, man. All right? I'm talking about life. Of course, the cars too, but I'm talking about life right now. You gotta have a why, man, and have something to keep you going and keep you pushing, man. The true character traits of a warrior, man, one is that they wake up knowing they're gonna win that day, no matter what, regardless of what they're gonna go through, man. They wake up with the mentality that, man, this is me. Today, I'm gonna handle this day, and I'm gonna handle it in beast mode, straight up like that. With me, I'm over Christ, man. So I'm always in beast mode, all day, every day, 24/7, man. That's just how I roll. Second of all, a true warrior don't believe in failure, man. Of course, man, you're gonna make mistakes in life, man. But that's life, man. That's how it is. If you don't make mistakes, how you gonna grow, man? If you don't grow, you're gonna stay idle, man. And if you stay idle, you don't move, man. So you gotta make moves. That's why you see me doing all these videos. I'm very unconventional, man. I'm always pushing the bar, man. Always pressing the limits, man. Because I like to, man. I don't like to just be mediocre, man. You're gonna see me do all kinds of stuff, man. So, but that's what I do, man. You know, I love this stuff, man. I love to get down on it, man. Of course, a lot of it's hard. I don't care about that, man. I love this stuff. I take on the challenge, man. But I don't ever go into something with the thought that, oh, man, I might fail in that. No, man, never. I never think like that, man. And you too. Don't ever think like that. Don't ever sabotage your thinking and think that, man, I don't even know if I can attempt to do a head gasket. I don't know if I can change a starter. I don't know if I can change the transmission fluid. You know? Don't ever set yourself up like that. Once you start thinking down like that and negative, man, you screwed yourself. Never think like that, man. That's soft, man. Don't ever think like that, man. You wake up. When you wake up to win, man, that day. Knowing that God's going to provide for you, man. You hear me? Like I tell you all the time, keep Jesus Christ first, man. That's how I roll, man. I know some of you guys don't like it, but, man, I don't care, man. That's what I do, man. I used to roll the streets like some of you. You know, I used to get drunk, drank all the time, man. That's all I did, man. I was alcoholic. Smoke, did dope. I quit, man. I'm done with all that, man. Now, my job is to help as many people as I can, man. I mean that. Not just with cars, man. I'm talking about life, man. That's why I tell you, man, smash on it. When you out there, smash on it, man. And I mean that from the heart, man. So, there's no such thing as failure. There's only the opportunity to grow and to excel and to get better and wiser about your next situation. Because you're going to always come across something, man. There's going to always be hurdles. But what you learn back here is going to help you get over this hurdle over here. Okay? So when you come across something that's kind of difficult, smash on it, man. Don't be afraid of it. Run up on it and approach it like a beast, man. And stay in beast mode. Every day is like a battle, man. It's a battle for your mindset, man. Will you break down? Will you give up? Will you bend? You know what I'm saying? Or will you remain solid and faithful, man, to God, in my case. And you who know Christ, too. You know what I'm talking about. Will you remain solid and keep your integrity? Will you remain faithful and let something defile you, man? You know what I'm saying? Like letting foul things in your life, man. That's why I tell you, man, keep Christ first. Only God can pull you out, man. He died on the cross for your sins. Jesus Christ died on the cross for your sins. Don't ever forget that, man. Stay solid. Remember, with God, all things are possible. Stay on it. Stay smashing on it, all right? In Jesus' name, go get it.